Welcome back to the Turnbuckle Chat podcast. Myself and David myself joined by David today, bringing you Elimination Chamber review. Elimination Chamber obviously happened yesterday. Um, we thought it was a very good PLE, a very good show indeed. So we'll give you our thoughts and opinions on it, and then let us know in the comments what your thoughts were. But first of all, David, how are we, buddy? How's your day been?
Not doing too bad, not doing too bad at all. Yeah, nice day. Nice and relaxed day after staying up till 3, 4 a.m. in the morning, but surprisingly not tired as what I usually am after a PLE.
Yeah.
Strong PLE, really good storyline to build up for Mania as well. Very excited to talk about this. How are you doing today? How was your day today?
Yeah, it's been a stressful week, but ended it on a good note. Like you said, not as tired. Don't know if that was because it was a 12 o'clock PLE, not a 1 o'clock PLE.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, very good show. Very much worth staying up. Before we go into Chamber, just wanted to get your thoughts on been announced. Obviously, WrestleMania has been brought forward an hour and a half, meaning that rather than us being up till 4 a.m. watching WrestleMania, we're only going to be up until like half two. So it starts at 10:30 over in the UK time for anyone who hasn't seen. Mania has obviously brought forward, so usually at 12 o'clock will be a 10:30 p.m. start. 4 hour show. What are your thoughts on that for the UK?
I think I can probably speak on behalf of the majority of UK fans out there saying that I'm very pleased because obviously WrestleMania is a long show and you do stay for both nights. But I think that's starting early at 10:30 and it's 2:30 still quite late, but it's not as bad as like 4, 5 o'clock in the morning to be fair. And
Yeah,
especially people who've got work on Monday like myself, that'll probably give me an opportunity to watch the majority of it and then maybe catch up the end on the Sunday, maybe, or just power through and have plenty of monsters in work on the Monday morning. But very happy it's going to be at 10:30.
yeah, it's very interesting for us because obviously, like we said, many British fans have said in the past, most PLEs are at like 1 o'clock in the morning. They're
Mm.
3, 4 hours long, so that's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. They're finishing, and like you said, being up for work at 7 and going to work for like 8, 9 o'clock, and it's horrible. But yeah, to have it at 10:30 till 2:30, it's a nice light early one. So it should be good, should be interesting. We will be bringing out our plans for WrestleMania soon. It might be that there's just 30 of us on a Zoom call bringing you what's going on live from our own homes and reactions and stuff, but we'll definitely keep you updated on what we're going to do. But jumping into last night, um, I've seen a lot of mixed reactions online.
Mhm.
Some people happy, some people not happy, some people are pissed that Jericho didn't turn up, some people not happy with Triple H, but they're happy with what happened. Obviously, we'll touch on it later, but we got the incredible Danhausen debuted with a great little promo that I think's great. I think it's up there with Kit Wilson. It's just great. Um, but overall, without going into before we go to each match, overall, what are your thoughts on Chamber?
From pay-per-view, especially well, if you're going off the past previous PLEs, like in WWE, none of them have been really great. I think Rumble was a big letdown in particular. But the PLE, Elimination Chamber, the big PLE before WrestleMania's got to go out on a big one, big bang, setting up big storylines, and it delivered. To be fair, I think obviously, as you mentioned, a lot of fans have mixed reactions online saying about Jericho not returning. But I possibly we might get him the Raw after WrestleMania, maybe and bring him back that way. Not too sure, but going back onto Elimination Chamber, I think every match last night was a strong match, and there's some really good storylines building up. Obviously, we'll discuss that a little bit more when we go to each match, but overall, very good pay-per-view. What were your thoughts on it? What did you think about the overall PLE?
Very strong. Like the crowd were great. The matches were great. Um, the way it all happened was like little things in each match were really good. I said it yesterday to you whilst we were watching it, and I still say it now. I think CM Punk and Finn Balor was the match of the night. I think that was a great match.
Very good
Um,
match.
I think the difference between the last few PLEs and this one have been that you look at Rumble, you have a women's Rumble, two matches, men's Rumble. The matches in the middle also let people down. You go back to Survivor Series, you have a women's war game, men's war game, two matches in the middle. The matches in the middle let you down. Where I think this time the women's chamber started off good and there was a lot of positives with it, but the crowd weren't quite there. You then have AJ come out, who's a home talent. Her and Becky have a really good match, builds a crowd up a lot more. CM Punk comes out and him and Finn Balor have an absolute classic match again. You build the crowd a lot more, and then you go into the men's chamber and you get what happened in that, and you're like, oh my god, like it just seemed to go on a path upwards. And the middle matches, I get obviously they're two hometown people that give Becky and not Becky, sorry, AJ and Punk the wins because they're in their hometowns, but it allowed the show to just get better and better and better. Um,
Yeah, I agree.
very, very good, very good, very good start. But we'll go to women's chamber first. Um, surprising to me, but not to many that I've seen online. Surprising to me that Rhea Ripley won it. I said this to you yesterday. I'm very surprised they've had a Raw superstar win the
Mhm.
chamber to go for a SmackDown title.
Yeah,
Because if you throw back to 5 years ago, even, but the last 10, 15, 20 years of WWE under Vince McMahon, Raw superstars competed for the Raw title, SmackDown for the SmackDown. I think personally, it should still be that way. And it should be
Mhm.
that people on SmackDown were in that chamber match,
Yeah, I
not
agree.
not Javon Evans, not Logan Paul, LA Knight, who's also on Raw. Like you've got Cody, you could have had Jacob, you could have had Solo. You had who else was in there? There was someone else in there.
Randy Orton.
Randy Orton SmackDown. Obviously,
Yeah,
Randy Orton wins it, but with the women's one as well for the SmackDown title, you could have had Alexa Bliss, you could have had Charlotte, Kiana James, Julia, um, Chelsea Green if she didn't get injured, Alba Fire. There's so many people from each brand, and I just don't understand why they're not. Why have a draft every year
yeah,
if superstars just compete on any show? Like LA Knight was drafted to SmackDown, had a big rivalry with Roman Reigns, then had a big rivalry with Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre and people on SmackDown, gets injured, and then all of a sudden he's now a Raw superstar. It's like, why do we have a draft if 6 months after the draft no one gives a crap where they were put? They'll just go anywhere.
yeah.
Um,
That's very true.
I would kind of like to see that old school brought back off. If you're on Raw, you compete for the Raw titles and in
Yeah,
Raw matches. If you're on SmackDown, you compete for that. And then you have the big ones like the Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. You have cross brand matches.
yeah, I
Um,
agree.
maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be, oh, Backlash is a Raw pay per view and Money in the Bank is a SmackDown pay per view.
Yeah, yeah,
Like you have two Raw, two SmackDown matches on each show, or whatever they want it, three on each show, whatever it's going to be. But I just don't understand Rhea Ripley being a Raw superstar the night before Chamber. She loses the tag team titles on SmackDown to Lash
yeah.
and Nia. We will not even discuss that. We'll discuss that Tuesday. I'm not going to discuss it now because I'm absolutely raging about it. Don't agree with it at all. But SmackDown before Chamber, she loses the women's tag team titles and then goes in and wins the Rumble. So, what are your thoughts on Rhea winning the Chamber, not the Rumble, the Chamber?
Bit of a shock to be fair. for me to be personally, I would have thought that it would have been down to obviously Pear and Tiffany if I got asked that start, I'd be like, yeah, it's Pear and Tiffany going to go to the end. But I think it would make more sense with Tiffany winning the Chamber and headline and not headline going to WrestleMania for the title.
Yeah,
It would just make sense with the whole history that they've had. Tiffany can go get the title back.
yeah.
Um, it, and it just makes sense. And as you mentioned, then it's a Raw superstar going for a SmackDown title. It just destroys the whole point of having both brands and having these superstars set on that brand, these superstars set on that brand. Like I do miss like the old school drafts where like the confused would come up and then it'd be like, oh, John Cena's drafted to SmackDown. And I think there's that episode, and then at the end of the night, he got drafted back to Raw. Like just something old school like that, where as you mentioned as well, going back to what you mentioned about the PLEs, like being like a backlash is a Raw PLE. Trying to think of a PLE after the SmackDown PLE. You could even have like both, like both brands still on each PLEs, but not have but have the Raw SmackDown set to Raw titles. SmackDown
Yeah,
one set to SmackDown. Like that's what yeah, I think you brought up last night when you mentioned it when Rhea won, and I've been thinking about it and I didn't understand it myself to be fair. Because what's going to
I
happen? Like she's all of a sudden, obviously we mentioned about losing the tag titles. So what's going to happen with their partnership with
yeah.
EO? Is that just gonna be like basically they're going to try and
Well,
get the titles back and then
she's dedicated the win to EO, hasn't she? She dedicated the
yeah
chamber win to EO, and EO tweeted about saying like, "Thank you, mammy" or something like that. But what what really grinds my gears with Triple H, um, and creative like that is Charlotte Flair for the past 10 years has you rarely get her going more than 2 3 months without a title. Rhea Ripley is that new Charlotte Flair. She held the women's
mhm,
world championship for so long. She lost that, was immediately put back in a title match. She won it again. She lost it. She then got injured. On her return, she was put straight back in the title match. She won it. She then lost it. Oh, what can we do with her? Oh, we'll stick her with EO and we'll give her the tag team titles. They've lost
yeah
the tag team titles and now she's gone. They've gone, oh, let's stick her in the WrestleMania main event. We'll stick her on that title. That's probably going to be the person that beats Jade Cargill because let's be honest, unless it's Bianca Belair returning after Mania, I can't see anyone else realistically that's going to beat Jade.
hmm
That would be a good match anyway. Um, Apart from someone like Tiffy, which is who I'd give it, and I'd have had
yeah
Tiffy, who never actually had a rematch for her title loss because she got injured,
yeah
have her rematch and win it back at Mania. But it just seems like Rhea's that new superstar that they can't go more than like a couple of weeks without her having a title because they lose so much money by doing
yeah
it, but they're not pushing people like I'd have absolutely like. Obviously, I get she's injured, whether it's a story or what it is. I've seen a few people that are pretty pissed at Michael Hayes about it, but the situation with Chelsea Green at the moment, I'd have loved to have
yeah
seen Chelsea Green win the Chamber. And I've said it to you
yeah
in the past. I've said it on podcasts. When you watch Unreal season one, and they're sat in that room going, "Who should win the women's Royal Rumble?" And they went, well, why don't you have 28 and 29 eliminate themselves and Chelsea Green comes out 30 and wins the Royal Rumble?
mm.
Mate, I'd fucking love that to happen because it's her
Yeah same
character to a T, but it's somewhat different in the main event picture. You could
it
have had
is
Chelsea Green go to WrestleMania, face Jade Cargill in a match that would she'd never win. She's been beaten by Jade Cargill 3 or 4 times already. You have her go to Mania and you have
yeah
her just clean win
yeah
and
yeah
you put change the whole perspective of the next 12 months of WWE. But
yeah
I think they've give it Rhea because they're like, oh, we lose so much money from merch and stuff. Her not having a belt,
yeah
where I think Tiffy probably deserves it better because let's be honest, Tiffy had a great 2025. Then she lost her
she did
title. She got
yeah
injured. Um, she lost 2 matches. One to Stephanie Vicaire at Crown Jewel, which was a good match, very close. And then she lost to Jay Cargill, which was for the title. Only two
yeah
matches she lost in 2025, and I think she was from like fourth or fifth in the business for the most matches competed in throughout the year. She was
yeah
defending her title and always putting it on, and it was what fans wanted. Now you've had Jade Cargill. I think Jade Cargill's defended the title once and only had two matches since she's won the title. And she's now got to be close to 90 days as champion, if not longer.
Yeah,
And you're
she
sitting there
is
going,
around
you've
there.
took two steps forward with Tiffy Stratton and got into a situation where it's being defended a lot. Oh, she's got injured. Okay, let's give it to someone else who crowd clearly won. But then they can't storyline Jade because she's got no story. She's got no,
Yeah.
but she can't wrestle. She can't wrestle these kind of
No.
people because she is she's the China of 2026.
Yeah.
China had to eventually go into the men's business and win the men's intercontinental title. She was in the men's rumble. She competed with people of the stature of Shawn Michaels, Triple H, them kind of people, competed
Yeah.
with them. And Jade Cargill is that person. You
Yeah.
bring in Jordan Grace, who's built like an absolute machine as well. You can have Jordan Grace beat Jade, get that power hungry, and then have Jordan Grace lose to someone like Chelsea Green because it would make
Mm.
sense. You can't have Jade
Yeah.
Cargill lose to someone like Chelsea Green. And ultimately, they've had to put Rhea Ripley on it to have Rhea Ripley defeat her, ending that title run. And I just don't agree with it. Like I said, it's a Raw superstar going for a SmackDown title.
Yeah.
It's the same person over and over. Like I'd have been happy if you're going to put a Raw person after a performance last night, Kiana James or even Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah.
That double pin and
Hmm.
the tit, the wardrobe malfunction that she had,
Yeah.
that unfortunately her boob was shown to thousands and millions of people around the world that watched. Um, but she had a really good match, and I've seen someone say it like the
She did.
MVP for the Chamber last night was Raquel Rodriguez, and I'm like 100%. She had a very good match. She was only in the ring at 8 minutes,
She did. She had a very good match and very strong performance of her.
and I'm sort of
1,000%.
going, this is another reason why I'd scrap Judgment Day because you've got
Yeah.
Liv Morgan. We all know what Liv Morgan can do. She's great, but
Yeah.
Roxanne Perez is great on her own. She proved that in NXT.
Hmm.
Raquel Rodriguez, great on her own. Give her a mid card if you have to. She could do it on her own. Finn Balor, give him a singles title. He can do it on his own. Dom's proven he can do it on his own. The only person that'd be in trouble with Judgment Day splitting up would be JD.
Yeah.
And I feel like the only storyline for him would be to send him back to NXT and have him go for Joe Hendry in the world title and help build the world title up.
Don't get me wrong, that I would like that as well, to be fair. I do think JD's got a lot of talent in that sense.
Mm,
I would like to see him in maybe the US title picture, maybe, and
yeah,
maybe getting a singles push. But I think before he does go into that picture, I think he does need to go back down to NXT and just build that character up to be like not coming across as reliant on the Judgment Day.
yeah.
Like go down back down to NXT and build up that way. But yeah, no, going back to previous what you're saying about Rhea winning as well. I was reading a few comments online earlier about saying, "Oh, Rhea's like it's the best for business," and that's a comment I don't really agree with because I know obviously Rhea, we all know she's probably one of the most over women's
Yeah,
wrestlers out there at the moment. But you look at Tiffany, and you've mentioned some of the stats. Then, like she's won like the fourth or fifth most matches in WWE, and you can't say that she's not over with the fans. The fans absolutely love her,
yeah.
and I just feel like I don't want to get in a position like we were with Charlotte. Like don't get me wrong, Charlotte's got great talent and stuff, but that was like sort of like shoved down our throats, sort of thing. Like okay,
Yeah.
Charlotte, like they're scared, like not to put a title on her because she
But
is
then
that big.
Look at what Charlotte's doing now that they're not pushing her
Yeah,
to be the best. Her and Alexa Bliss are doing really good work, and that's another person. Alexa Bliss to be the first person to go to that chamber last night was the wrong decision.
yeah,
You watch all the entrances. Alexa Bliss's music hit, big pop.
mhm,
Was it Oscar come out second? Nothing.
yeah,
Raquel Rodriguez come out, was an okay pop. Kiana James come out, was an okay pop. Tiffany Stratton come out, big pop. Rhea Ripley come out, big pop. So if you've got those six people that have walked into the ring, out of
mm,
those six people, why is Oscar not be the first one eliminated? Because she was the one that literally, as she come out, no one give a shit about, and people used to literally. It used to be really big pops for her, and people loved her.
yeah,
Clearly, it's showing she's gone in the wrong direction.
yeah,
People don't care about her anymore, and then you have Alexa Bliss and Kiana just getting into this good little battle in the ring, and then it
Mm.
just ends really quick with a stupid mist. And I'm
Yeah,
like, it don't make sense. Like
yeah, no,
Alexa Bliss would have been a really good person to win that because then you get the
I agree.
underdog story at WrestleMania. She's been out for 3 years to have a baby and stuff, whilst Jade's been coming into the industry and building up. She's then come back. She had 5 months on her own or so. She got put up with Charlotte. You could
Mm.
then have her go to WrestleMania. Well, she built up this big storyline with Charlotte, building, building, building. You could have her go to WrestleMania and
Yeah,
be the underdog and win, or you even go to WrestleMania and you build the storyline that Charlotte then turns on her in the match, costing her the title. But then you
yeah,
build up a good storyline with Charlotte and Alexa down the line. And I just think there's so many. Kiana James would have been a good one as well
yeah,
because she was really really good in NXT. Really liked watching her. And then she got her obviously her ACL injury, did all that, come back, and they've gone, oh, what can we do? Oh, hang on, we've got a United States champion who don't speak much English. Let's just put you as their manager because that'll help get her over. If I'm
mm.
Kiana James, I'd be sat there going, no, like, I need to focus
Yeah,
about
and
myself. Like, you can see,
yeah, you
she'd
can
be a
see how
great
much.
person.
Yeah, you can see how much WWE actually like want it as well. Obviously, it could be like confidence why we haven't seen much of him. Why she probably might have gone down that manager route. But I hope this is just start of good things to come for Kiana.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
kind
And
of want to
also,
see
just while
her
we're
and
on the
Julia.
yeah, while we're on the subject of Kiana, and we're talking about Oscar, that spear Oscar took as soon as Oscar's pod opened and she got speared.
Yeah,
Mate, that was brutal. That was brutal. I thought
that's
that
what I
I
mean.
need to.
Kiana James sold that really well because it wasn't like you get a lot of the newbies come in and they're like, come up
Mm,
from NXT, like Javon Evans, for example,
yeah.
comes in the ring, does a couple moves, and then he got took down once, and but he let the fight come to him
Mm,
when the next pod opened. Where Kiana was like, "Nah, screw that. I'll take the fight to you. I'll show you who's the
yeah.
top person here," and
She
that's what I like
went
to
through it.
see.
Yeah.
Putting Oscar through a pod's crazy, but
Mm,
what I think is that's got to start now, leading to her looking for more opportunities. Because, like I said, it when we did our Rumble review, she had a very good Raw Rumble.
yeah.
She's had a very good Elimination Chamber. If she's not in the US Women's title match at WrestleMania, I'll be very surprised
Yeah.
because that's the route that I would take at Mania. You give it to Kiana, turns on Julia and wins, or whatever. Kiana takes that title, and then you
Mhm.
bring up the people like JC Jane and Sol Ruka to the main roster, and
Yeah.
you get that next NXT coming in, and Kiana's that person that's then going to lead them all to where they're going to be because she's been on the roster now for 12 months doing it.
Yeah.
That's where I think Julia was just rushed onto it because she was a champion. They wanted Stephanie Vicaire on the main roster, but Stephanie said, no, Julia's a champion. She's got to go first. So I think they rushed Julia up and was like, what situation we go? She's, again, been a useless US champion.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I agree. I
you
agree.
get
I
one
think.
title running really well. Like, you get the men's US
Mhm.
championships running really well with the open challengers. But Dom's a useless intercontinental champion. But then you've got Becky, obviously now going on to AJ, but you've got Becky who's a really good at pushing the IC women's title. But Julia's doing absolute naffle with the US championship, and it's like
Yeah.
there's a potential there for a lot of things from that women's match yesterday. But the
I
double
agree.
stack and pin from Raquel was very interesting.
It
Don't think
was.
I've ever seen two people eliminated at once.
No, I don't think that's ever happened.
I think that was the first time I've ever seen it. But someone put
Yeah.
it was very much Roman Reigns esque. Stack them, smash them, stack them, and pin them,
Yeah.
basically, like he did with Edge and Daniel Bryan at Mania. But
Hmm.
I think she did herself good. Um, Alexa
She did. I
obviously
think.
did Alexa
Yeah.
things in the chamber. You can't argue with it, can you?
No, hats off to every woman who talked about that match there. And but in particular, those two we've been speaking about mainly is Raquel and Killian James. They proved themselves in that match and really got
Yeah,
even despite them not being
100%.
in the final two. Both of them made a statement performance in that match.
Raquel said, someone said it like I said a minute ago. Raquel only spent I think it was 8 minutes 23 seconds in that
Mm.
match, and in that 8 minutes 23 seconds, she did more than what Tiffy did, and Tiffy was in it for nearly 40 minutes.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, going into that match, like obviously, I've never really been a big fan of Raquel. Like I'll see if she's got storyline just from there and really like that. But obviously, maybe that's just because she's portrayed as that character in WWE. Maybe so. Like that's probably just my personal opinion. But when I seen it last night, I was like, oh, yeah, she's going to do a few moves and get out. But when I seen the performance last night, I was like, you know what, hats off. I take back what I actually, my opinion were, yeah, because you've pulled
Yeah,
off a great match there.
but that's the difference with what I like with the chamber was if you're getting like different people in it was you got to see Kiana James in a solo situation without Julia around her, without
Yeah.
someone getting involved. Just Kiana James being Kiana James. We got to see Raquel Rodriguez without Roxanne and Liv and Dom and
Mhm.
everyone else getting involved, and it was just Roxanne and showing
Yeah.
what she can do. I mentioned it a minute ago, so we'll get onto it later, but Javon Evans in the men's rumble, it's the same as that. Seeing someone new that you probably haven't seen much of Raquel because before she joined Judgment Day, she was just in squash matches where she was a big giant that got beat by everyone. And you sit
Yeah.
there going, that she's got so much power, so much strength, so much ability, yet they're wasting her in a
Hmm.
tag team when she could. I'd have happily said that for the past 10 months, she could have had a really good main world title reign.
She
She'd have
could
been a
have.
good
She
person
could
to
have.
dethrone Rhea originally, and could have had
Yeah.
a good run from there. And you build her up as this big powerhouse, and then something happens or something like that, and you build it up and down like that. But that's a good thing about Chamber, and I always find it with Money in the Bank as well does the same thing, where you get to experience what an actual wrestler's ability is. And like I said, Kiana James, Raquel Rodriguez, even Tiffy, Alexa Bliss showing off a bit what she could do. We already know what Rhea can do. Oscar didn't really do a lot on it.
No,
I
never.
probably, apart from her being speared through a pod, I can't really pinpoint anything major Oscar did, apart from
No.
that and the mist. Um, So I kind of feel like she was a wasted spot like that would again. Alba Fire would have been really good in there. Something different. Maxine Dupree, Natty, someone different in there.
Yeah.
Um, even Kyrie. I'd have
Yeah.
loved to have seen Kyrie in there. Someone
No,
else could do
same.
as well. But you got to see a lot of people's potential. And obviously it showed it was a good match. Good way to
It
start
was
the
very good.
PLE indeed. Um, but yeah, so we went obviously we went from that. We then head to AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. All I'm going to say is, wow, what a match that was. That sold a story.
Match. It did.
You have a match where you could sit there and go, there was a load of good moves. It was a really good high flyer. Like they wrestled really well, etc. That sold a story and sold the story well. Don't get me wrong, it's predictable what's going to happen now. We're going to get Becky moaning for the next 5 weeks that Jessica Carr ruined her life and she was tapping out. She wasn't tapping out, she was smashing bugs, or AJ Lee threw her into a corner knowing the exposed turnbuckle. There's going to be all these stories that are going to come out from Becky, but it's going to build that story that Mania is going to be a good rematch. Um,
100%.
But for AJ's first match back, what were your thoughts from that point of view? Look at it. AJ hasn't had a singles match in I think it's 11 years.
Yeah. No, it was great. Great performance from her. And I think that she perfectly told that story well. She played her part in that match well. I think I mentioned the comment to you last night. I was like, oh, she's surprised because like she's really got like confidence is high through
Yeah,
everything she was doing in the ring. Obviously, we have seen it in some tag matches and we've seen her in back at War Games. But to be in the ring and to hold her own against Becky, she's done really well. I have no ring rust whatsoever from what from like obviously from my perspective. She's done really well. Obviously, we've known that like for the past 2, 3 years she's been training behind the scenes with CM Punk, but obviously that's different from training in like a local gym or whatever to
yeah.
20,000 people watching on live and millions around the world watching. And she was just yeah, she just summed the story up very well.
There
I
was
am
a
looking
few
forward to see where this will
moments.
go.
Yeah, there was a few moments where you went, mm. that weren't meant to happen, or
Yeah,
that should have happened. But when you've been out there, like when Alexa Bliss first come back at that Royal Rumble, first move I think she did was a botch, and it was like,
yeah,
tell she's been out the ring a while, but they built,
yeah, yeah,
but she did it in the first match with her and Punk versus Becky and AJ. There was one or two mishaps that maybe happened that you're like, forgive her for that because she's just coming back into it. Then you go into War Games. She's in a whole new match. She wasn't even in WWE and War Games become a thing.
mm,
So,
yeah,
whole new concept for her to have to get used to. Did really well in that. And then last night, her first singles match back, like you said, one or two moves maybe. It's Becky being a newer
yeah,
superstar, even though she's been there 10 years, but she's a newer superstar compared to what AJ was dealt with. And the way that we put it the other day is the women you get now are actual wrestlers, where before they were, oh, look, I'm pretty, I've got big boobs, I've got a bum, and I'm blonde, or whatever. Where
Vince's
now,
McMahon's dream house.
yeah, where now they can actually wrestle. So AJ's obviously been learning, well, extending on her wrestling skills and
Yeah,
picking up and stuff like that. So it was good to see it back. Yeah, like I said, every match has a botch or two. You always see them,
yeah. The
but
best superstar on the best day might have always have a botch, but and we're not,
but
and as
you
you mentioned, then yeah,
without getting too picky because without well getting too picky, you probably wouldn't really notice the botches
no,
if you weren't really paying attention to like in depth. Like we look at everything. We talk about when we're watching them live. We talk about every emotion
yeah,
you see, and we're looking out and watching cameramen and people in the background to look for movements or and stuff like that,
yeah,
like
yeah.
to try and get those points of views. But if you're just watching it as a general person watching it, you're probably not picking up on the botch moves, and you're probably thinking, "Oh, like that's a simple thing." But it really, really impressed me that she had that reign, and quite excited to see what they do with this IC title.
I am. I think it will lead up to match at Mania. I think, as you mentioned, Becky's gonna go on a rant like we have seen already on social media for the past 3 months.
Yeah,
I am loving that side of Becky, by the way. She's playing that off really well, um, on and off screen. But I mean, I would like to hope that AJ does keep the title after Mania. I hope it just wasn't that she's got the title because obviously it was in Punk's hometown, Punk's home
yeah,
show, and she won the title and then she loses it at Mania. So we've only got the title for the like 7 weeks. I think it was the Mania, 6 weeks now. So I do hope that she does keep the title after Mania, and we do
yeah.
get AJ to see some of these upcoming superstars in WWE at the moment, and opens up a roster. And we can see more of the talent superstars got, but then also the talent that AJ Lee's got as well. Because obviously we've not seen her in many matches since she's made a return, but from what I've seen her in the past, she's a great superstar.
I thought I'd just take a look on social media to see
Yes.
if Becky's put 18 minutes ago. Becky put a
18
tweet
minutes
out,
ago. Let's see.
all in capital letters. It says, "Adam Pierce, please advise. If you do not suspend corrupt car and address my beloved Intercontinental being stolen and degraded by absolute joke and her terrible classless husband, I have no other choice but to inform you and the Becky believers of the world that I will not be at Raw tomorrow." So it's already started.
Yes. I think she put one out
Um,
last night as well, didn't she?
she
It's
can't keep
after.
getting away with this.
Yeah.
Carr stopped AJ from making contact with the exposed turnbuckle, but allowed me to run right into it. Corruption at the highest level. I am demanding that Adam Pearce do his job for once in his life, suspend corrupt Carr without pay, complete a full internal investigation, strip absolute joke of her title, delete the Triple H photo. This must all be done immediately. I am calling the biggest and baddest lawyer on the planet. The bull rhino is about to be unleashed. This is not over. I hate Chicago. She put a tweet out that just said "car led Ryan." Um, yeah, so it's already begun, and
Yeah.
I'm all for it as long as it stays on social media. I don't want them taking up 20-minute raw promos of her just bitching and complaining. Um,
Yeah.
looking through some of the comments, So if you do hear your name, I'm going to apologize now. But there's a guy called Marco Rios on Twitter. Had tweeted her back with the gif of "Bye Bye Bye," the song by Backstreet Boys, and then goes "Bye Bye." Bye." Someone put
Just
Becky,
reminds
can
me
you
of
ever?
Death Builder.
Yeah, Becky, can you ever just congratulate someone instead of complaining to your boss is tiring?
Hmm.
Um, Someone put, okay, now you went too far. CM Punk is baby girl coded and is cute as fuck, and a model husband and very hot like some other husbands. You must know. You must know one when you see one. Someone's begging her to be at Raw. Someone's put no Becky, no party. Um, People backing her saying, girl, this is not the time to disappear. We need to lock in and beat corruption. It's she's doing what Drew McIntyre should have done.
Yeah.
And take it all to Twitter where um I've just seen a tweet that I'll get to in a second, but um Drew McIntyre should have took it to social media more rather than just a few cocky tweets.
Yeah.
But Sports Center yesterday, obviously, she says Sports Illustrated and blah blah. Sports Center put a tweet out that's 20 hours ago that says AJ Lee submits Becky Lynch to become the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. Jessica Carr tweets back, "Oh hey, at ESPN is saying it too." So tweeting out that multiple people are saying that Becky tapped. Um, See if there's anything else, but super. Oh no, WWE put a tweet out and said, "Oh no, Becky Lynch takes out WWE official WWE Lady Ref Jess." Jessica Carr retweeted, "Rough day at the office, but someone else might have had it a bit worse."
It is good.
So
I'll do it all day.
they're selling it really well,
Yeah.
and they're building it really well. So
Yeah.
let's before we get onto the CM Punk match, I'm gonna Adam Pierce has put Becky, give me a call and let's discuss. He's put a number, which I'm assuming is going to either be Rick rolling her again or
Yeah.
he's going to do something really funny. I'm trying to see if there's anyone put what it is.
If there's a UK number, we could do it live now.
If you don't want to give your real number but need to give a number, give them 248 434 5508. It plays the Rick roll. So he's Rick rolled her again. um, which is funny. But let's get to the debut before we get to the CM
Yes.
Punk match. Because I am seeing a lot of things online about Danhausen's
Yes.
return. I, for one, seen some of the work he did in AEW.
Mhm.
Yes, he probably is a bit more of a comedy character, but he's a great comedy character. He's a bit like the kind of style of Boogeyman, R-Truth. Like
Yeah.
he can get a good laugh and stuff. Um, but WWE tweeted 19 hours ago at Danhausen AD was in the box, obviously for his entrance.
Mhm.
I've just seen a tweet from Kit Wilson who just commented toxic. But what were your thoughts on Danhausen's debut?
I think it's great. I've not seen much of him in AEW because we only restarted obviously when it was I think when we went back in December. That's when I really started watching like
Yeah,
picking up on AEW. Obviously, you see all the bits on social media and highlights. But when I seen him, obviously recognized his face, recognized who he was. And when I said to you watching last night, who's this? And they're like, oh, it's the one with all the makeup on, like the white face and black eyes. I said, oh yeah, I know who he is. I
yeah,
like him. But obviously, I have seen him on social media and stuff. And I did go and have a look at some of his just highlights on YouTube this morning after seeing it. And he's got some great talent. I think WWE really signed a great talent there. I think his persona as well. Like when we are WWE are missing that sort of like kind of dark persona.
yeah.
And I think that's what he can bring. I know we gave Michael Cole was it a jar of teeth
Heath.
last night, was it? Yeah,
Yeah.
which was weird. I think I can just picture someone watching WWE for the first time last night, and he comes out and just gets handed a jar of teeth. Like, what is this?
The thing that
Uh,
makes me laugh the most about that is he hands him the teeth and he goes,
mm.
So Danhausen's just handed me teeth, and Wade Barrett goes, "Oh look, you got your first pair of dentures."
Yeah, yeah.
I was like,
That's
"Oh,
funny.
Wade Barrett's great."
But no, I think he's a great talent. I just hope. I know you've mentioned about him being like a comedic
Yeah,
talent, but I just hope he doesn't go down like the path of our truth because I have seen what I see online. He has got great talent.
yeah.
He does some
I
good
said
promos, so I'm hoping that the fans do get behind him as well.
I can't think what his name is again. His name's gone out of my head, and I searched for him yesterday and I found him. I said it to you, but he reminds
The
me
vampire.
of the yeah. I can't think what his
Yeah,
name
that one.
was.
I think you sent me the picture,
Kevin
didn't you,
Thorne.
news?
Kevin
Yeah.
Thorne. So Kevin Thorne was ECW WWE
Hmm.
early 2000s, mid 2000s, and he was a vampire that used to come out and was a dark, scary character, a bit like a Timu version of the Fiend.
Yeah.
Um, and I think Danhausen's got that comedy side that of when I say like our truth, I mean like the comedy side of our truth. Like
Yeah, yeah.
if you watch his video back from last night of his entrance, he had the little firework that poofed on the top of the box, and then when he was in the ring before it goes dark, it's the little poof. It's because that's all part of his character. It's not like oh, it's weird. It that is the jokey part of it. That I'm gonna have
Yeah.
big pyro and it's like a little firework that goes off.
Yeah.
Um, and he's got the comedy side, but he has got a lot of talent. And I remember watching him. I watched him on the indie scene before I seen him in AEW, and I
Mhm.
thought, wow, this guy's good. Like he's weird, he's different, but he's good. And then I seen him go into AEW, and that was when I first started watching AEW. Um, I watched him go into it, watched what he'd built. He's got a good relationship with CM Punk. He had a good relationship with Cody Rhodes and Chris Jericho and a few of the other people in AEW, and people love him. He's really good with the fans. I've seen a lot of videos online today of people being like, "Here's when I met Danhausen like a couple of years ago. This is what he was like." Um, he's got a lot of potential, and I think WWE is the right path for him.
Yeah.
Um, he's that weird character that's going to come out and just make people laugh. But then when it's
Mhm.
time to get in the ring and he's actually got to wrestle, he can wrestle. He's a very
Yeah.
good wrestler. Um, I'm just hoping they don't put him in a storyline where it's like him and Obafemi for his first match, and Obafemi just destroys him,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar destroys him on a random Raw because you're going to kill him.
Yeah.
And that's what he did like with AEW was that AEW tried to just kill him off. Eventually, there was a big falling out, and obviously he didn't. He hasn't competed for AEW for like a year or so.
Yeah.
Um, but he's got a lot of potential of being really good in WWE. The one thing I'm hoping they don't do is what they've done with a guy you may remember debuted at Royal Rumble called Royce Keys. Don't be
Yes.
shocked if you don't know who he is because he hasn't fucking been seen on TV since. But
No.
yet he was at AJ Styles' thing the other day,
Yeah. He has.
and he was
I've
seen
seen on
he was seen in the ring.
online. Yeah, that he has been competing on a main event.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. But you
Yeah.
you bring this absolute powerhouse, excuse the pun, but you bring this massive powerhouse from AEW into WWE.
Mm.
You've debuted him in Saudi, which got no pop because no one knew who the fuck he was.
Yeah.
You've changed his name, and then the next Raw, you started going, right, Powerhouse Hobbs come out, start on Rusev, or go to Raw and line up Drew, or line up Cody, or line up Damian Priest, someone that's going to give you a good. And he's been put on main event fighting against people like Apollo Crews and Matt Cardona.
Yeah.
And you start to go in, that's wasting talent. Like I understand. Same with when Jay Cargill come, they had to um, train her how to be a WWE superstar,
Hmm.
not an indie slash AEW superstar. But if you sit down and watch his interview with Stephanie McMahon on Stephanie's podcast, he's come from a terrible place. He grew up in such bad conditions and bad places and all this that if you turn around to him and goes, "Go in that ring, I need you to cut a really good promo saying how AEW's Well, don't even mention AEW, but how you've got history with Cody Rhodes or you've got history with CM Punk or something like that.
Yeah.
Build that really good storyline or just go out and attack someone. He's going to go out and he's going to do his best because he knows what he's come from and where he can be.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I'm just hoping Danhausen they don't sit there and go, "Hey, look, we've debuted your Elimination Chamber. You're now not going to appear until WrestleMania 43 because you need to spend a
Yeah.
year." Because that's what they did with Jade Cargill. Debuted her at
Yeah.
Rumble. Her next appearance was the Rumble the year after.
Hmm.
The people are sat there going, "When's Jade Cargill coming?" Blah blah blah. Oh, she got injured. Oh, she's doing this. Oh, she can't. She's this. No, you were training her how to be how you wanted to be. Um,
Yeah.
Seen a lot of people
Yeah.
though for Danhausen. A lot of tweets saying happy that he's in WWE. Glad to see he's here. Um, and they're excited to see what comes on. So it'll be very interesting to see what they do with him, what storyline they go with, um,
It will be.
and where they take it, kind of thing. But yeah,
Definitely.
um, let's move past Danhausen
Yes. Going on to
on to Chicago-born. Chicago, should I
yes.
say Chicago-made?
Yes.
Is if you don't know it out there, is actually what the CM stands for. Chicago-made punk.
Yes.
Um,
I did like that. And also just before we jump in about this as well, 'cause I want to ask your thoughts on this one. But I picked up on it about his legendary tribute to Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls like entrance. So that was the bit going before do what happened before
yeah,
Cult's personality hit. That was what happened then. I was a big fan of that because it was happening last night. I was like, oh, like what's this? What's going to happen? And then obviously the commentator came in. I was like, oh, that's a nice tribute.
yeah. But it's also the fact that they were talking about the legendary commentator from the Chicago Bulls was the one
Mm.
that was doing the voiceover. So it's
Yeah,
not like they've just got Michael Cole to do the voiceover of a tribute
yeah,
or
yeah,
CM Punk or Triple H. They've got people with meaning, and that's what I liked is
yeah,
you can tell CM Punk had a lot of say in what happened last night, and a
yeah,
lot of it was let's show the history of Chicago. Let's show how
yeah,
proud of Chicago people are.
yeah, yeah,
You obviously you before you CM Punk comes out, you've got everyone chanting CM Punk, but it's also the fact of when that promo hit and the guy started talking, you heard the crowd pop because they realised, oh my god, it's something about
yeah.
Michael Jordan. This is what this is, and this is who that is,
Mhm.
and it linked up really well. Um, but obviously, yeah, talking of Chicago made, it was CM Punk versus Finn Balor.
Yes,
Um, I was very surprised. Not, don't know if I should say surprised. I was, I didn't expect the match to bang that much.
yeah,
They had a very good match. It was one of those matches again where I think we said it at one point. We were like, still couldn't tell you who's going to win this match. It was genuinely one
yeah,
of those where you feel like it's going to be Punk because it's in Chicago. But then saying that Clash at Castle in Wales, you think it'd be Drew McIntyre because it's in the UK.
yeah,
Drew
yeah,
McIntyre in Glasgow again, you'd think it'd be him because it's his hometown. Sami Zayn in his hometown multiple times. And he's sat there going, maybe they don't go with CM Punk, maybe they give the Finn
mm,
Balor and they get the hate out of it.
yeah.
Um, Ultimately, obviously, CM Punk wins. A very good match. Um,
I did. It was.
what were your thoughts on the whole match in general?
Oh, it was a great match, and it's like they had another great match when they faced off in Dublin, was it, for the
Yeah,
title. They had a great match there, and they've had a second great match again. Both as good as each other. The match was back and forth each way, and as you've just mentioned, then me and you went to each other like we had. CM Punk might have a chance of winning it. Oh, Finn Balor might have a chance of winning it. Like it built the tempo and the speed of the match was a very good match overall. And I like the fact that no Judgment Day got involved as well.
yeah.
Like
You had that
Finn
moment
Balor,
where Finn looked as if he was trying to
yeah,
call him out, and I said to you, "Oh, here we go. They're going to come
mm,
out now." And then they didn't, and I was like, "Okay." But is that going to now lead to the tension on Raw, where he's going to go? You could clearly see I was struggling. Why didn't you come and help me?
yeah, yeah. But I feel like it's like obviously at the end where they shook hands as well, and Finn Balor got the nice handshake off. I can't think of my words tonight. I think handshake off CM Punk, and obviously we've seen that happen in Dublin as well. And it was nice just to get the respect off both superstars. I feel like this is a sign of good things to come for Finn Balor. I hope. Um,
It
I really
has
do
to
hope
lead to
so.
Finn and Dom at Mania. I think
It's
though.
got to. I'm a massive fan of Finn Balor when he was in NXT and when he was just known as Finn Balor, and obviously the Demon as well before he went into like the Judgment Day Finn Balor and whatever. I'm a big fan of him, and he has got the talent. He's WWE have put the big championship on him. Obviously, unfortunately, due to unfortunate circumstances, he had to relinquish that the next night on Raw. But it just shows that he has been a champion before, and he does deserve to be a champion again. Like he's faced CM Punk twice now, and both times he has pushed, obviously in the storyline and stuff, but he's pushed CM Punk to his limit, and it actually it's come out to the match. Finn Balor's came out very strong out of those two matches. But it's interesting to see what happened with Judgment Day because obviously there was that moment where he was looking up the ramp to see whether Judgment Day are going to come out, to whether that does build tensions. But obviously we'll
Yeah,
find out on Raw, which is going to be tonight. So not
tomorrow.
tonight, tomorrow. Yes, it's not Monday yet. Ugh,
We don't
trying to
have Sunday pay-per-views anymore.
no,
Um,
I'm trying to wish the week away. 'Cause I'm looking forward to next weekend.
yeah, David's going on his stag do for all those that don't know. He got married in a couple of
Yeah,
weeks, so gutted I
you
can't
might
be
not
there.
be
But
you might not be able to see me though.
yeah, let's just say if you know David, you know what he's going dressed as.
Yeah,
Um,
you'll be able to see
but
me.
no, Finn Balor showed, but they've had two matches now. Now,
Mhm.
all good matches, whether it's 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 2-2, 3-3,
Yeah.
whatever. Not be 2-2 because there'll be too many matches, but every good rivalry has three matches. We all know that.
Yeah.
You push out three matches. Does this potentially lead to CM Punk keeping the title at Mania and maybe Finn Balor getting money in the bank?
I do hope
After
so.
seems that third title, then it's finally I've beat Punk for the title. Or do we
Mhm.
now see it where we spoke about before, where this now leads to Judgment Day implosion? We get Dom and
Yeah.
Finn at Mania. Finn takes the title off Dom and pushes the IC title up. Maybe Dom then goes and wins money in the bank. You
Yeah.
end up with people like Bron Breakker or I'd even say Logan Paul, but I don't really want to. But someone like that maybe dethroning CM Punk down the line.
Yeah.
Dom then cashing in and Dom becoming world champion because I feel like that's the only way he'd win it. If you were
Yeah.
going to go like Dom, the traditional Dom, you'd go that way. But
Yeah.
do we now see maybe this could be the end of Judgment Day? And do we get it where Finn turns on them, or does JD and Dom turn on Finn?
I think it's going to be a lot of it. I think the main rivalry is going to be between Dom and Finn, and JD's going to be stuck in the middle. But then it's going to cause JD to pick a side. Then
Do
I
you
feel
get
like,
Dom versus Finn with JD as special guest referee at WrestleMania?
mm, yeah, or do we get a sort of where it's just both of it? It's just going to be Finn Balor and Dom, and JD comes up, but we're not similar thing to Paul Heyman last year, but we're not too sure who he's going to side with, and then he does side with Dom that way, and then but Balor overcomes and wins, and then that way we've got Dom going off for a little bit or whatever, and then we get the rivalry for JD then because that'll bring JD into the storyline.
Yeah, but that would also put JD into a singles push. We were saying about the US or IC title.
Yes, it would.
Could push him into that, but
Yeah.
I'd like to see JD go win the title and then push
Hmm.
forward in his career there. I think
Yeah.
if you win, you get Finn to win at Mania. It's too soon to bring JD in as a rival
Yeah.
because you're going to need to push Finn as a solo competitor again, and maybe
Yeah.
push the Demon or push something.
Yeah.
And you need to push JD as a solo competitor
Well, I was looking before, Money in the Bank not till September this year.
Yes.
So it could be that JD goes on like the mid card goes maybe answers a US Open challenge and go from Raw to SmackDown, which we're we're certain can happen anytime anyway.
Yeah.
Um, and then he's got so basically from the moment Balor wins the title at Mania, if he does take the full year's cash in from September, that's like a year and a half later. So you've got enough time throughout that year to Finn Balor to have a
Yeah.
really strong championship reign. Get pushed. JD McDonough gets pushed into singles, wins Money in the Bank, and then that way we also haven't got the Money in the Bank around the main championship. It's getting cashed into like our mid cards, and even if it wasn't JD, it could be like a someone else who's mid card and takes the US title or the Intercontinental Champion. Like it'll bring something different that way.
Yeah. I think the we obviously spoke about it earlier. I think the best thing for JD would be going back to NXT.
Yeah.
Because he was really good on NXT and they brought him up
Mhm.
and he kind of people were like, who the fuck is this guy? And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden he joined Judgment Day and he's now well known. He's now got this his own character of he's known in both brands. Maybe they try and help push NXT by sending him back down.
Yeah.
You have him go down, and maybe you get people like Joe Hendry beat him, and Ricky Starks beat Ricky Saint, whatever his name is. Ricky Saints maybe beats him and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and then you have him go after like the North American Championship, which
Yeah.
was just won by Miles Bourne. You have him win that. He puts prestige on that title, pushes it a little bit, and goes and goes and
Yeah.
goes. Eventually, pass that title on to someone else, and then he goes
Mhm.
and take the title off Joe Hendry and push and push and
Yeah.
push. And then you're looking at Mania 43. He comes into the Royal Rumble as NXT World Champion, has a good showing because everyone's like, oh my God, JD McDonough's back on main roster. Maybe have that
Yeah.
rivalry with Finn, who could still be IC champion. You then
Hmm.
have the next pay per view, which is NXT. He loses that main card, that
Yeah.
NXT main championship, and then he appears at Elimination Chamber and costs Finn his
Yeah.
chance to go to Mania or something like that, or maybe cost him a match or get involved in a match or something that then leads for WrestleMania 43. You bring in JD McDonough versus Finn Balor for the IC Championship, to which Dom then cashes in that match.
Yes.
So it's a year building it, but it would be a cool way to do it. But
Well,
um,
it will be.
I feel like he's got the potential just to be thrown under the bus though and be a bit like a Baron Corbin,
Yeah.
a bit of irrelevance. But going on to final match of the night, um, the men's chamber,
Yes.
which was won by the 14-time WWE champion.
The
I
Viper.
did I did predict, and you can first I did predict Randy Orton would win it.
You
Before,
did. You did.
quickly before we go into that match, looking at Randy Orton winning it, I want to look at what happened in the press conference after the match. So
Hmm.
obviously, well, I say obviously, quickly jumping into the match, Drew McIntyre obviously entered the chamber.
Yeah.
Claymore's he didn't even Claymore, did he? He went to Claymore Cody.
Mhm.
Cody
Yeah.
reversed it. He got RKO'd into a crossroads, which then ultimately distracted Cody. Randy hit him with an RKO, pins him, beats him.
Yes.
Nick Aldis then announces that on Friday, Smack coming up on SmackDown, will be Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. Now, that is a bold move. You've had
It is.
your Mania main event made. You've made
Yeah.
a championship match for Friday. Now, I said to you earlier, the only way I see this happening is Jacob gets involved,
Yeah.
costing anyone that match,
Hmm.
which ultimately then makes Nick Aldis go, you know what? You three can't get enough of each other. Next week on
Yeah.
SmackDown, Drew McIntyre, Jacob Fatu, Cody Rhodes for the World Championship, which again ultimately gets stopped by Randy Orton, RKO, and Drew to build up that storyline, which then leads. I'm getting really excited thinking about it. Which then leads to WrestleMania becoming a fatal four way.
Hmm.
Personally, I see Jacob Fatu walking out of WrestleMania as WWE champion. I'd love
I would
it,
love it.
but at the same time, I do want to see Randy Orton, and I'm going to say sorry because you're probably going to cry at me saying this. I would like to see Randy Orton break John Cena's record
I
because
just can't see that happen. I think
I
maybe
can't
I
see it
think maybe
happening.
he'll get to 16. I think he
I can't
deserves
see
to
it
get to
happen.
16.
No, I think he gets to 17, and do you know why? Because if you remember when Randy Orton first came into WWE with Evolution, he was told, "You'd be no one. You're not big enough. You're not good enough to be a big superstar." Imagine he goes and breaks Ric Flair's record. Well,
Yeah.
not what was Ric Flair's record, and joins John Cena as a 17-time world champion. Necessarily doesn't
Yeah.
break John Cena's record, but
Hmm.
John Cena says he wants to be there the day to shake the hand of 18. Let's be honest, if
Yeah.
Javon Evans was to do that, you're looking at 25 years down the line. In the nicest way possible, that makes John Cena nearly 75.
Or or do we get, and this is just me wishful thinking, Randy Orton gets to 17, Cena comes out, shakes his hands, and goes, "May the best man win."
Mm.
And it goes to and that is Cena's last match, and that will obviously I don't that well it could be the obviously that could be the retirement match from both of them. One of them retires as champion.
That's not a
That
bad
is
show.
wishful thinking. That is wishful thinking from me as a Cena fan because
You,
obviously
you just think
the
John Cena's going to have one more match. Um,
I'd love it. I
let
just don't like the way he went out. Well, no, I love the way he went out, but I wish he went out on a win.
The only problem with that storyline is you can't do that for like 3, 4 years
No, no,
because
exactly.
you'd need the downfall of Gunter to happen
Yeah,
to get rid of the whole I retired John Cena.
yeah,
You need that downfall to happen. But I could see him hitting 17
yeah.
and maybe never breaking that 18.
Hmm.
Just to be like, just to get that arrogance in his speech, to be like, you guys said that I'd be nothing. I'm now
Yeah.
the greatest champion from Evolution.
It would be great for them to call all like there's a celebration for him that when he reaches 17 and Batista makes a return and comes down, congratulations, Ric Flair comes down, Triple H comes
Yeah,
out, and he just sits there and just rips into the three of them saying
just
yeah. And
to them all
does
would
that
be great.
does the Ric Flair strut and then does the DX back to them walking up to
Yeah,
them. Oh yeah, that would be great.
and then just
But no,
RKO's them all. And then,
yeah,
but no, let's go.
that'll probably kill Ric Flair at that age because we are talking about a few years down the line.
Yeah, let's go back into the match there.
Yes.
Where to start because a lot happened. We'll go right back to the beginning. Um, One person I want to talk about before we get into the shit that happened is Javon Evans
Yes,
because he had a very good match.
he did.
Uh, Again, very much surprised me. I get your boy's bouncy, but he bouncy.
Yeah.
How he took that BFT on top of that cage
Yeah.
and then still got up, and the first thing he thought was, I'm going to Swanton Bomb.
Mm.
Baffles me.
Yeah.
But Logan Paul deserved it. Um,
Mm.
he's another person that really surprised me in the chamber.
Yeah.
He got 3 eliminations, didn't he? He got the first 3.
Yeah.
So there's obviously a push on Logan. Um,
There is, I
out
think
of,
there is.
out of the people in the vision, I could see Logan being world champion first.
Yeah, I
Um,
think now, especially with Bron Breakker, unfortunately injured, so he's out the picture. I would have, because I think he would have been the guaranteed win, to be fair. So,
I don't think he would have.
no.
I think they would have built Bron Breaker.
Yeah, actually, thinking about it now with Seth Rogen, maybe be
Maybe, but I think
thinking.
they'd have built Bron Breaker as the guy that could never get the job done,
Mm.
but the jealous guy at the same time. which would then
Yeah.
ultimately lead to him turning on the Vision
Yeah.
and then winning. And then his whole story
Hmm.
could be, well, the Vision kept me back, held me back. Vision stopped me winning championships, and the Vision did this and that.
Yeah.
Um, but I think Logan potentially could be. I hate to say it, but by the end of 2026, I generally could see Logan Paul as a world champion. Um,
He does deserve it, to be fair. And this is
he's a
going
very good
from,
wrestler.
obviously, I know a lot of people don't despise him and judge him by his history. But we've had this conversation many times before. But looking at Logan Paul, the WWE superstar or wrestler, whatever you want to call him, he's got what it takes to be in the ring and be up there. John Cena's gave him his
Yeah,
hat and said he can. He's a very good wrestler, and that's coming from the goat himself. That's not that's just what but no, I do think he
go on.
deserves it, even though yeah. Anyway, Logan Paul, yes, he does deserve
Technical
being
errors.
champ.
Technical errors for
Yes,
anyone that
technical
sits there and wonders
errors
what's going on.
and me just jumping up.
No,
Going
well
from
done.
what I said, Logan Paul, I think he does deserve to be a champion. I think a lot of people despise Logan Paul as only because of the history of him, and I think that's also what makes him a great heel as well. But looking at the WWE superstar Logan Paul, he's got what it takes to be in the ring with the top superstars. We've seen him before. He's had matches against John Cena. Cena was one of the many people to turn around and say he's got what it takes to be
Yeah,
champion in the next few years. And also you've got these superstars like second, third generation superstars, and he is just a YouTuber. Well, I say just YouTuber, one of the biggest YouTubers at the time, back in the early 2010s. Um, and he hasn't really trained wrestling. He got into it, like you can say he got into boxing the way he was in boxing, but he's took the WWE by storm. And he's done really well, and some of the moves he's pulled off in the ring, and it is great to actually see Logan Paul. I didn't actually think I'd ever say this, but it is great to see Logan Paul as a full-time WWE superstar.
yeah. I think that's the difference, though. Is a lot of people didn't like the fact that he appeared every 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Like, for example, he didn't compete for 7 months.
Yeah.
First time he comes back, he gets a world title shot against Roman Reigns
Mm.
at Saudi. And people didn't like that because it was like, you're just this big shot YouTuber who's come into our industry and
Mm.
taken all of our chances. But then you see the work he had his daughter and has been full time since.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that a lot of people say is the hardest. It's hard to have a child and be a full time wrestler.
Yeah.
And you look at his schedule and like he's doing a podcast one day, then he's at a Raw, and then the next day he's with his daughter, the next day he's over here doing a show, and he's over there doing a show, and he's running his business. The guy is very
Yeah.
busy, but he always seems to find a way to put on great matches. Like,
Mm.
don't get me wrong, he talks, and I sit there sometimes and I'm like, oh, shut up.
Mm.
But he's really good on the mic because he knows how to wind people up.
Yeah, he is.
That is his
He's
role.
got that. Yeah, it's like that. Just that type of persona around him. He knows people don't
Yeah,
despise him. He knows people don't like him. Whether you're a WWE fan or not, he knows people don't like him, and he plays into that really well and gets the reaction from the crowd. And obviously, to
100%.
be making in WWE, you could be the greatest wrestler on the planet. If the crowd's not going to be behind you and give you any reactions, you're not going to make it.
Pointless. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to make it. And I think, but he's got the massive crowd reaction behind him. He's got the talent. Yeah, he probably may have to work on his promo skills a bit better. Because as you mentioned then about him being a bit boring in some promos. But apart from
It's not
that,
necessarily being boring. It's just I don't like listening to the guy talk. He just made it.
yeah, he does. Yeah, to be fair, yeah, I would say boring. To be fair, he hasn't had that many good promos. From what I can think of, anyway.
Yeah, you can't.
Um,
He's not really had good promos, but at the same
yeah,
time, it's one of those. Look at the work he did when it was Drew McIntyre and him versus Cody and John Cena.
yeah,
Those promos were really good. And
Mm.
when he faced Roman Reigns a couple of years ago, he had really good promos there. He can have really
Yeah.
good promos, and I think he's only going to get better because he's teaming up now with Paul Heyman and being the next
1,000%.
Paul Heyman guy. And he's going to be built and built and built. But they need to utilize his promos in a way that isn't like people. I know people that turn off when he comes on, and they're like, "Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
come back in 10 minutes because he's gone." They need to get a way to capture the audience that are going, people are going to want to listen to him.
Hmm.
Um, he's very good in the ring. He's had a lot of wow moments, and for a
Yeah.
guy that's only been wrestling like 5 years,
Yeah.
he will do anything to get a
Yeah.
moment. We know he likes a viral moment, but he also just enjoys the fact of throwing himself off the ring ropes. Like he should say when he
Yeah.
did that table moonsault, and he was like, I practiced for like 15 days
Mm.
just to make sure I got it perfect. And then he does
Yeah.
it, and you're like, that guy does it so easy. And he's like, I trained for
Hmm.
15 days. And you're sort of
Yeah.
going, that's pure dedication to make sure you craft that perfect. You did
Yeah.
15 days of make sure it was fine. So it's like, there's a lot of potential with him.
Yeah.
Um, I kind of feel like they've killed off Theory too early
Yeah.
into this run because he's not doing a lot. His promos weren't
Yeah.
great the other day, and as I said it to you, when you're coming out and doing a promo and you've got the Oracle Paul Heyman, the
Hmm.
Oracle Paul Heyman, and Austin Theory goes, "I've got my wise man," and you're going, "That's going to cost you
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he's not your wise man; he's your Oracle." Um,
Yeah.
that's like bringing someone out and just call it like. Can't imagine bringing John Moxley out on AEW and calling him Dean Ambrose. It
Yeah. Yeah.
wouldn't work. It's not done him any favors. I've seen a lot of
Hmm.
people that have tweeted about it, and it's causing a lot of trouble for him. Not necessarily
Yeah.
causing trouble for him, but like giving him a lot of hate for it. Um, but the main big story going on, obviously, where this conversation's leading to is the masked man appeared last night. Wasn't
Yes,
who
he
people
did.
thought the masked man was. It was some random guy again. After it was announced on Friday at SmackDown that the masked man was a gentleman from Seth Rollins' school.
Hmm.
Yesterday, the masked man appeared again, and it was a different person this time, again from Seth Rollins' school, as all the stewards and security have carried this bloke out of the building. Um, I believe it was Javon Evans was leaving the cage. Another
Hmm.
masked man appears
Yeah.
inside the ring, stomping Logan Paul. Um, and to as much as I absolutely love watching Paul Heyman shit his pants live on camera, Seth
He's great for
Rollins
those
revealed.
reactions.
Seth Rollins obviously unveils himself as the masked man to
Yeah.
say that he is back after the Vision's attack. So,
Yeah.
what was your thoughts on the way that all portrayed out? Because I kind of seen it coming, and I may have ruined it a little bit
Yeah.
on Overall Tour last night. And I was like, "Oh, he's going to come out now. He's going to sneak from under the ring," and then he did, and I was like, "Ah." It was a little bit predictable, but at the same time,
Yeah.
the of him actually releasing it was him. What were your thoughts on
Yeah.
that?
I know it was a bit predictable, but then it's also a surprise as well because I didn't expect him to be back from injury so soon.
Yeah,
I'm so glad that he's back for that he is back for WrestleMania because Seth Rollins always has great matches on the grander stage, more shall we call it. And I think he can pull on. I think he will pull a great tough match off with if it is Logan Paul. I think those two will have a match, and I am down for that match. To be fair.
I'm not. I seen it at
No.
WrestleMania 39, and it wasn't.
Mm.
That was when the first time we
Yeah,
seen KSI in a prime bottle. WrestleMania
yeah,
39, Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins. It was a good match, but wasn't my highlight. I would
yeah.
like to have seen maybe we get Logan Paul and Austin Theory
Hmm.
versus Seth Rollins and a tag partner.
Yeah,
That what would work really well for me would be if it was Seth Rollins had a mystery tag partner,
yeah. Mhm.
and that's where you bring back Jericho
Yeah,
because Jericho would do really well with putting over Theory and Logan Paul. And
Yeah.
we all know Jericho's great on a promo. Jericho ripped the shit out of them, but then in the match put them over really well.
Hmm.
Um, and it would make a difference that the mystery return would be in favour of Seth Rollins, whereas obviously the last time we had a mystery return at Mania, Cody Rhodes against Seth Rollins.
Yeah, it was.
Um, but that would be potentially be a way that you bring Jericho into WrestleMania. You'd get
Hmm.
a huge WrestleMania moment,
Yeah,
and then you could also get a big moment. You could always have Chris Jericho get pinned and
yeah.
make it bigger moment
Hmm.
um, that leads it. Or do we ultimately or do we ultimately see Seth Rollins come back?
Yeah,
Maybe there's a backstage segment where him and Paul Heyman are talking and it's getting heated. And then they bring him back out. And ultimately, whilst they're injured, they remove Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed from the Vision. And Seth Rollins then just takes the Vision
okay.
forward.
Mhm. Interesting. There's multiple ways it could be.
Yeah. Um, but no, rounding up um, Chamber that way was really good. So
Hmm.
as we're aware at the moment, CM Punk versus Roman Reigns for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Drew
Yes.
McIntyre versus Randy Orton for the WWE Undisputed Championship.
Hmm.
It will be Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill for the WWE
Yeah.
Women's Championship, and Stephanie Vicaire versus Liv Morgan for the Women's World Championship. Those are currently the four main title matches announced for WrestleMania. We're
Yes.
also now going to get the thing. We've also got, from the past week, a Brock Lesnar Open Challenge for WrestleMania. We ultimately think it's going to be answered by Gunter or Obafemi. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
Maybe it's answered by both. Um,
Hmm.
I'm assuming we're going to get a Carmelo Hayes, Ilya Dragunov solo, maybe Tamatonga
Yes, maybe.
instead match at Mania.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're wanting Dom and Finn, but there's so many different ways WWE can go now. We are well and
Yes.
truly on the road to WrestleMania
We are on the road.
and making our way to the grandest stage of them all, which comes to us live in 6 weeks' time. We now don't have a pay per view for March. We don't have a pay per view now until WrestleMania, so it will be 6, 7 weeks of purely building WrestleMania moments. Um,
Very exciting for
very
it.
much excited for it. We are making a few changes to our schedule.
We
So
are.
going forward now, we will be recorded on a Tuesday, where we will bring you a SmackDown and Raw review, um,
Yes.
preview what's coming up for the following week, make some changes, and then like we have today, every Sunday after a PLE, we will be bringing you our little review, even though this one's like an hour and a half long. Um, Bringing you our reviews of the PLE. Of course, every time we post out videos out, whatever it may be, we want your guys' opinions, thoughts, comments. So keep liking, subscribing, sharing,
You.
commenting, and everything you're doing because we do really appreciate it. Share it out to everyone you know who's a wrestling fan. Let's build this really little community. Let us know if you want us to bring any other guests on. Or you can go and check out our video we did a couple of weeks ago with Just G92. We had her on as our first ever guest and did a bit of talk about her background into wrestling. But yeah, so we will be back Tuesday night with another podcast where we
We
will talk about
will.
what happened on Raw. I think that's going to be a really big build up. The last podcast we did, I asked you a very random question at the end of if you used to wear a mask, whose mask would you wear?
Yes.
And I said to you that every podcast I'm going to bring you a really random question. Now, it's been that long since we did a podcast. I forgot until you reminded me earlier. And I went, oh, what can I ask him? So,
Yeah.
my question to you, David, is if you could pick one superstar in the past from a tag team
Hmm.
to that you would have to replace, what tag team would you join and who from the tag team would
Oh.
you replace? For example, I would want to be in DX.
Mm.
I think I would replace Triple H,
Yeah.
just because Shawn Michaels is more fun. So, what tag team would you join, and which participant would you replace in the tag team?
Oh, oh, you're probably thinking now. I'm trying to think of all the tag teams past and present.
Past and present.
Oh, let me see.
My other option would be replacing Matt Hardy and joining the Hardy Boys.
Yeah, the New Day,
And who would you be replacing?
Xavier Woods.
As soon as you said New Day, I was like, you've got to replace Woods. Kofi's too
Yeah,
funny, and Big E's my idol.
I
Again,
think
and I've said it on every podcast. Big E, if you ever watch it, please do our intro.
yeah, I think Big E and Kofi will have the titles, and I will be cheerleading around that ring with the trumpet, getting all the crowd hyped. That would be the way that would go. So
That's a
I
great show.
guarantee that as soon as we start recording this podcast, I'm going to be going to you. Oh, actually, it's tag team. Actually, it's tag team.
Yeah,
But from
but
what I can think of, only because, and I'm saying New Day, is because I have got the box of B series and stuff from this here, and I was like, oh, tag team. I actually think that was a
yeah,
good one.
there's a lot of tag teams you could have had. There's
Yeah,
obviously, as I said, DX, the Hardys, the
yeah,
Usos, New Day, the New Age Outlaws. There was Christian and Edge. There was the Dudley Boys.
yeah.
There's Trevor Murdoch, Lance Stroll. That's always one that comes into my head. I don't know why.
Jesse
You
and
could
Festus.
Jesse and Festus. There was the Bar. If you go in now, you've got Tozawa and Otis.
Mm,
But see, machine guns, White Six, MFTs. As much as they're
yes.
factions, they still had tag teams. There's loads of tag teams. The Super Calls, Deuce and Domino,
I was
uh,
going to say the Shield.
Eminem.
I was going to say
You
the
could have had
Shield.
the Shield.
But but when you then replace them, I was like, can't.
Yeah,
That's one thing I wouldn't change about any of them. And then of course I
yeah.
was like, oh, who John Cena's tag teamed up with, but
John Cena and Shawn Michaels were World Tag Team Champions. Kane and Daniel Bryan.
True. Yes, no,
No,
yes, no.
no. But yeah, interesting question. So let us know in the comments, who would you replace and what tag team? Well, what tag team would you join and who would you replace? I would
Yeah,
be replacing Triple H in DX just because I think Shawn Michaels is funnier, and David would be replacing Xavier Woods in the New Day. But from us, until next time, cheerio.
bye bye.